You're listening to a segment about language immersion, honoring Ojibwe culture and heritage. In January, Bois Forte hosted a free Ojibwe language immersion event at the Tribal Government Center in Nett Lake. It featured singing, hand drumming, storytelling, outdoor winter games, language classes, and a traditional dinner. The 3-day event exposed people to culture and tradition while creating a sense of community. Billy Blackwell was one of the storytellers at the event. He told the crowd about his Ojibwe upbringing.
Anishtana bojo nishana bedok asabigane sagai ganing ishkonigaming oma nochko gego ishinikane guyan kichu nagaming dunchiba wing ego ni nimenuendan bishain oma chimikwenda nawa Kai kidawat mewasha kernzi bananak minamuya banana koma sabigane sa gaiganing iwi kuchitun tabaja motakozian windamuawa gegi no win aninga shweba mewasha kainda shanishana kamiga sunun u zichigeng no I said I am from Gitche Unagaming Grand Portage. Waban, early in the morning, Akwed, the early morning cloud is one of my many, many, many Indian names. And of course, when Mr. Blackwell talks, you're going to hear some very, very valuable stories. Why? Because when you hear these stories, it is your job to try to remember them, to carry them on. Now, did I grow up with the language in a traditional way? No. But when I reached 17, I started having visions and dreams. I lived in the woods with no electricity, running water for a while with the old people. And they wouldn't talk English to me. I was so frustrated, so mad, crying. And then about 5 years later, I was so glad, because it caught on finally to my mind. As a kid, I only knew 6, 7 Indian words that my mother taught me. But she didn't speak it either, our grandmother did. But I learned. There's so much knowledge. You cannot believe. The elders told me knowledge never ends. Kagige bimadaziwen means everlasting knowledge. When you die, you're going to learn a lot more. My computer mind, when I hear things, I think of different things. When I say that word kagige, everlasting, right away I thought, gee, where did I used to stay in Nett Lake with Nasi Benner? Why? I didn't know at that time, but there was a reason for it. I can't remember if his name was Kagige Benes or Kagige Gijik. I think it was Everlasting Thunder, Kagige Benes. And he would talk to me all night. Nishnabemon. I could get about half of it. And he could speak English, not a heck of a lot. And I said, I think I know what you're telling me. He said, there's a dream I had. He said, I am to pass this on through you to the people of Nett Lake. He told me that in the language. So I went down to Albert Strong's, which was right down where you saw them on the film where the boats go. And he was married, his second marriage, to Ruth Boji Strong. And she was Nitanishnabemo. She spoke the language very fluently. And I said, Ruth, Nasi's telling me something about something that everybody is supposed to know about Nett Lake. Could you go talk to him? I gave her tobacco. She said, sure. That was about 1972 or 3 or somewhere in there. I was like 22, 23 years old. So she said, he had a dream. He is to tell the story of Nett Lake that you heard Jesse Drift talking about, that you heard her talking about. And so she went over and she did it all. Now, when you hear Mr. Billy Blackwell, you never know what's going to happen. Not very many people here tonight. Well, maybe there's a reason for that, the weather, everything. So, all of a sudden in a place called Cass Lake, there was a program. And a guy moved from out west. He'd gone all around. He went to Indian college. He was a tremendous basketball player. He grew up very poor in a place called Ball Club, Bagadawaning. His mother was a direct descendant of Chief Buffalo. So I used to drive all the way to stay with him on Sundays to practice basketball, because I was a great athlete in my younger days. I was semi-pro football. I went to Class AA in track. And I played on the state Indian basketball championships with this guy. So I went and told him through his program, and I said, you know, Nett Lake is an unbelievable place. There's less problems there than almost anywhere back at those times. I said, an old man talked about the story of Nett Lake, and this lady interpreted it. And he said, we'll fund it.
Gabe DeRogie, who is from Lake of the Woods, and Daryl Kingbird both taught language classes.
So I'm from Lake of the Woods area.
What's your name?
Elaine Ross, and I'm actually from the same community that Gabe DeRogie is from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I work for an organization. It's called AKRC. And my co-workers were coming here, and they said, they told me, see, Elaine, this is good. This would be good for you. You could help you learn the language more, or want to speak it, and you should go. So I said, okay, I'll come. And what I'm finding, I kind of gave myself a little test that I told myself last year that I would, in 4 years, I'd become able to speak the language. And what I'm finding when I hang out with my coworkers, because they're fluent speakers, that I'm picking up more and more words, that I'm picking up understanding more. So I think being around speakers is probably the best way of grasping the language. So I'm really glad I came here.
Probably will snow tonight. So if I said Tazuk Pantabekat, it would make sense, right? Because there's a vowel change there that takes place. Right? The Zuk Pantabekat. The Bekat means it is night. The Bekat is when it's going to be night. The Bekak. Make sense? The Zuk Pantabekat. It will snow tonight. We need mit yoga which ma the cook. What did I say? We is what? A future tense marker, right? We ni mi it yog. Nime is to dance. Wog is the pluralization of dancing, right? We nim it yog. So they are going to dance. Gonna budge. Gonna budge is, I think, I'm guessing, I'm not certain. Gonna budge. Gonna budge. You guys know that word, right? We nim it yo gonna budge. Oma to be cook. Oma is here to be cooked tonight. We need make you gonna watch Oma to be cooked. I think so, right? How would you say 8 p.m. in Anishinaabe? 8 p.m. Nishwasa to buy again. Nishwasa to buy again. Wapi, agamachinim. That's when I'll start to dance, she said. I'll start dancing right here. Nishwasa to buy again agamachinim min. Plural, right? Min. If you say min at the end of your sentence, that means it's plural and you're including yourself, right? Gamachi ni min. We are all going to start dancing. I think we're getting some teams. There's one here. 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a 4-man team right over here. And a 1-man team right here. Right? Animation cousin? Spencer. Spencer is in the oil and they're wasting. This guy that's eating here, his name is Spencer. We Peshigu Kaza. He's going to take on everyone single-handedly. That's what I said. Yeah. He wants that Yeti cup real bad. How would you say cup? Kwachigun. Some places they would say Onaganes, right? Plural, how do you say it? Naganesan? Sun. S-A-N.
Daryl Kingbird also sang a traditional song using a hand drum. Participants learned and played moccasin games.
My name is Gary Proudy. I'm from the Boys Ford Reservation. I'm up here today to teach moccasin games.
My name is in the class Jonathan Johnson. I'm here to teach the moccasin game.
Oh, well, I got asked to come up and teach moccasin games. We do that pretty frequently in the Red Lake Reservation. That's where my kids are half from, and I got a lot of friends that are from there, and I live pretty close by there, so that's where I learned the game. It was from Red Lake. And pretty much, yeah, I just came up here and taught a family member and taught a little guy. He's maybe about 13, 14, and it's pretty much like a warrior's game, a man's game. And I was taught that like it brings healing to like those who struggle, and those to like, I don't know how you put it, like abusing drugs or alcohol. So that kind of helps with the game, kind of helps and steer them into the right path. And so pretty much what I got for that.
So how did the boxing game go today?
It went pretty well. As today, we taught a couple of people, showed a couple of people a couple of things, and it went pretty well.
How long have you been playing?
I've been playing for about 5 years, probably going on to 7.
About the same, 6 years.
Cool. Who taught you guys how to play?
It was me, my friend Mike Barrett, Jack Johnson, Deion Peer. We all kind of got bored like one day, and my friend Mike Barrett, well, he's been playing long before us, and he learned from Todd Smith up in Red Lake, and so he kind of taught us the game. And then as we were just going along, we were kind of getting teachings from the older guys who've been playing way before we started when they were kids. And then so that when we started playing almost every day, they kind of seen that we were taking it serious, and they kind of you know what I mean, came out of the light and taught us the old ways and the old rules of the game. And ever since then, with about maybe 3 to 4 years, we got about pretty much about 50 people up there that play now, when it was just us 6 playing up there every day up on the reservation in Red Lake.
KBFT and Boys Fort are proud to host events like this and will continue to do so. This language segment was made possible by KBFT and the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.